Were a team to beat most of the MAAC season, but injuries have slowed Canisius down to a near standstill. Fred Dupree leads one of the MAAC's stingiest defenses, and Kevin Thompson is coming off a career-high 24 points. He'll have to repeat that to snap the Griffs out of a 3-game losing streak. Brian Ellerby is turning it around at Loyola. The former Rutgers star has the Greyhounds poised to go over the top of the Canisius defense. Anthony Smith and Teron Owens, the senior guard from Maryland, think it's their time to step up to another level. It's all next. The Golden Griffins and the Greyhounds. Welcome back to Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York. It's the Marine Midland MAAC quarterfinals and the second quarterfinal of the day. Canisius and Loyola, number 4 and number 5 seeds coming into the tournament. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino shifting over here to the host position. Barry Landers and Glenn Consor will be bringing you the play-by-play of this game. And let's catch you up on what's happening. So far, as far as the men's, we've had one quarterfinal. The number 1 seed, Iona, able to survive 71-59. The lead had been cut to just a couple of baskets late in the game, but Iona had all the answers. So they have advanced. They will play the winner of the Greyhounds of Loyola and the Golden Griffins of Canisius. That game coming up in just moments. Later tonight, Fairfield and St. Peter's. The number 3 seed, Manhattan, will play Niagara. The winner of those two games, of course, will play tomorrow night right here in Albany. Let's go now to Barry Landers and to Glenn Consor for a little analysis of our second game of the day.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And Glenn, these two clubs played earlier this season twice before. We had one of those games, a thriller in overtime, won, of course, by Loyola. What could we expect today with the big story, Darryl Barley, the player of the year, out?
Well, the complexion of this game totally changes now with Barley out. Loyola's the type of team that plays a very strong 3-2 zone. All of a sudden, Canisius is going to have to rely on outside shooting to stay in this game against the zone. And, of course, Michael Meeks is going to be a big factor on the blocks for Canisius in the way of point production and defensive rebounding as well.
Well, Meeks can light it up from the outside. He's going to have to provide points. He and Barley have been their go-to guys this year, and certainly MAAC All-Stars.
Well, Meeks is going to need a tremendous game from the outside, but the guy that Loyola goes to is Mike Powell. Mike Powell, who a lot of people felt was sharing or should have shared the player of the year in the MAAC conference. Powell could put the ball on the floor. He's a converted 2 guard that's been forced to play the point position, can score in transition, and can break you down in a half-court offense.
Powell averaging about 20 points a game, and this Loyola club, a scrappy club. Nobody expected them to be this good at this point in the year, and really a tough break for Canisius. Barley out with a thumb injury after he and Meeks had suffered knee injuries earlier this year. A tough year for Canisius.
Well, Canisius really struggling with injuries. A lot of people feel that they have been snake-bitten, but a lot of other teams have been snake-bitten also. Loyola, on the other hand, Blanchard Hurd, one of the top players and freshman in this conference, is also injured. So, and John McDonald left early in the season, so they're playing a little hampered as well. So this should be a pretty good matchup.
It should be, and we'll be back in just a moment. Get set for more MAAC basketball coming up next on the MAAC Television Network. I need billboard copy. That's fine. We'll get it. No problem.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got it. No problem.
Yes. Thank you.
We're back in Albany. Barry Landers along with Glenn Consor. The Marine Midland MAAC quarterfinals continue. In case you're just tuning in, Iona winner 71-59 over Siena in the opening game. And the lineups being introduced right here at the Knickerbocker Arena for this second showdown between Loyola and Canisius. Both clubs played before twice this season. Close games. Loyola losing at home 72-67. Then on a neutral site, Glenn Consor up in the Niagara Falls Convention Center. A wild game turning on a controversial play late in the game. It was Loyola coming out on top by 1.
It was the old Chris Webber play in the NCAA's. Mickey Frazier calling a timeout when Canisius didn't have any. Resulted to a technical foul in possession. Game turned around. Loyola wins the game.
Right now, let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Loyola Greyhounds. And they're a club that certainly has been peaking. They've won their last two under their second-year coach, Brian Ellaby, as they gather around him right there. Brian, a former Rutgers star and assistant at Virginia before he came over. And there he is, the starting lineup: Smith, Abraham, Butler, Powell, and Owens. And anybody besides the guy we talked about earlier, Powell, that may have a big game here for you?
Well, guys like Owens could really shoot the ball. Abraham, one of the top, actually is the top freshman in this conference, can pound the offensive glass. Then you see the starting lineup for Canisius, and they're going to need big games from Thompson and Dupree from the perimeter in order to stay in this game. Obviously, missing Barley with a broken thumb, critical to Canisius.
Well, they did play for a while without him, and, you know, they were really on a roll before he got hurt, and ironically got hurt in the final 10 seconds originally of the Loyola game, the game they won by 5 points. Since that time, they've really struggled. They've dropped something like 6 out of their last 7.
And then you see Brian Ellaby, what a terrific recruiter, bringing in tons of talent for Loyola, Maryland. Herb cruising to his right. Ronnie Thompson, John Thompson's son, to his left.
All right, Loyola with the basketball. Mike Powell, who had a 34-point effort against Canisius the first time they played. He is the young man who transferred from Virginia, number 5, second leading scorer in the MAAC. And backing it out right now, Anthony Smith. Smith and Powell play the backcourt along. Owens on the wing. That's Owens, who's been shot out of late. And he'll start off with the missed shot, the rebound of Michael Meeks. And they'll push it up. With the basketball in the backcourt is Javon Bam Moore. He's the junior point guard out of Brooklyn. 21 is Freddie Dupree, also out of Brooklyn. Kevin Thompson is a sophomore, number 3. He'll play in the wing position as well as in the backcourt.
Nasil Abraham, number 40 for Loyola, playing without his mask. Coming off a broken nose. First game back without the mask. We'll see if he's tentative.
Shot clock is down to 4. Dupree with an air ball. Of course, he broke that nose in the game. We televised that Loyola Canisius the second time around.
Playing that low post defense, just took an elbow from Collins.
And ironically enough, you'll recall, Glenn, he got a big bucket in overtime.
Good call, Barry. It was a big basket. He came off the bench after sitting the whole game with his broken nose, pulling down that big offensive rebound and putback.
Neither clubs are big scoring clubs. They average about 67 a game. Powell looking baseline. Anthony Smith put it on the floor, and he traveled. So Loyola turns it over. Canisius really struggled down the stretch. It looked like they had everything going. The change in the positions of Barley, Meeks changing positions, and Ryan Collins at the center spot, and Dupree contributing. It all went downhill with that injury.
Well, that's a good point, Barry, because Meeks is more comfortable playing the 5 positions, which is really why Collins is not getting the start here. He's more comfortable playing that center spot rather than the power forward. Plays better with his back to the basket.
Long-range jumper from outside would not go that time by Mickey Frazier.
Dangerous pass back.
Mickey Frazier, a guy that could be a key in this game. Glenn, he is an excellent 3-point shooter, but at times has been very streaky this year.
Has to play under control, make good decisions. That's been his problem.
Toronto Owens looking. Neither club has scored in the first 2 minutes. And the winner of this game to play Iona, which won by 12 over a scrappy Siena club earlier today. Shot clock down to 6. Good defense by Canisius. Toronto Owens missing. And the rebound quickly pulled down up court. Kevin Thompson found a cutting Mickey Frazier, and Powell got back nicely to block it.
Kevin Thompson is playing excellent defense on Powell. Just kind of shut him down on the isolation, the last defensive segment by Canisius. Thompson just pushes the ball up the floor. Now, Canisius is going to try to get some easy baskets.
And they're going to call a foul on Powell. You'll recall the last time they played, Powell played very little because he ran into foul trouble early.
He's got to be careful. Ellaby had to pull him.
And to their credit, they were down, 9 at halftime in that game and came back Loyola to win.
Without Powell. Powell did a nice job in the second half.
And without Abraham, 2 of their key starters.
One of the reasons Loyola is so tough is that they have 4 or 5 guys that can create off the dribble. So all of a sudden, when that shot clock is down and there's a broken play, you got guys that you can go to get that basket.
Good point, Glenn. First 2 points of the ball game. Neither club has scored a field goal in the first 2.5 minutes. Anthony Smith, the junior, for a transfer from Duquesne, brings it up. Both he and Powell, 2 transfers, did a great job. Powell way short again. Good defense there. And it's put in by the freshman. Dwayne Johnson has done a nice job. Or check that Lamar Butler. Nice job right there.
I love Lamar Butler, only a freshman. Tremendous raw talent. He's got good feet, good hands, something you can't teach freshmen, big guys.
Ball knocked away by the aforementioned Butler. The kid out of Medford, Massachusetts. Long-range shot by Kevin Thompson, and he nails the three.
Now, Thompson was flammable the last time these two teams played. He could really light it up.
Now they look in the corner. Powell pulling up, and a player going down hard right there. Mickey Frazier in the corner, and it looks like he's got a serious back problem. And John Beeline says, no, not again. Another injury to this club?
Powell just kind of went right at him as he was in the air. Classic undercut play. Don't think it was intentional. I think Powell just tried to get out of his way. Yeah, he just tried to get out of his way, and he landed right on his coccyx bone. And boy, does that hurt.
Oh, boy. Len, what was the most serious injury that you had when you played at Boston University under Rick Pitino?
You know, fortunately for me, I really just had some minor sprains and a couple of broken noses here and there. Nothing really that kept me out. I was lucky.
Canisius will make a substitution right here. Neither club particularly deep, but they will have to be making a substitution right here. John Beeline looking on as Mike Powell hits the free throw. So Canisius with a 5-2 lead early here.
Mickey Frazier was escorted out of to the training room by the trainer, and something that John Beeline probably isn't surprised to see at this point.
Keith Lampkin is the substitute, a 6'4" freshman who has played a little very lately, has not seen much action. And that is Keith Lampkin helping to bring it up against a little press here. The thing we haven't mentioned is that Loyola's zone defense, which is so tough, the 3-2 zone that very few teams have been able to master defensively against.
Yeah, what they try to do is invite you into the seams of the zone, and then they close it up, get good deflections, and take a look at Meeks work the offensive glass.
Oh, the big guy coming up big right here from Canada. And Canisius with a 7-4 lead early.
My heart goes out to John Beeline, losing a player of the magnitude of Darryl Barley.
Well, the player of the year. It's unfortunate our fans can't get a chance to see this terrific talent. Powell. Smith, guarded by Meeks, swings it back up top. Good ball movement here. Powell open for the jumper. And the rebound wrestled down by Freddie Dupree. So they go with a couple of freshmen in at forwards right now, Lampkin and Dupree, along with the senior Meeks. Nice penetration and a beautiful drive for Bam Moore. And Canisius coming out leading by 5 here.
And that was sweet. Bam Moore attacking the top seam of the zone.
Of course, it was, 2 years ago as we get a timeout that Loyola stunned Canisius on their way to a Cinderella trip to the NCAA.
Michael Reese, Tracy Bergen.
They were on a Cinderella trip. We're going to a break. We've got timeout on the floor right now. And right now, Canisius leading by a score of 9-4 as John Beeline talks to his club. And he's got to be pleased with the start. Not as a player, and oftentimes a star player gets hurt. You're in a championship game. Other guys step up. What's the feeling like?
Well, I think you have to really rely on guys that haven't played that much and expect guys to be ready to play and candidly step it up a notch. You need to find that person who's going to make shots for John Beeline's team. In this case, guys like Mickey Frazier and Thompson have to have big games, and Frazier has been escorted out of the game. But you also have to rely on your perimeter shooting against Brian Ellaby's zone. Attack the zone, go inside out, create off the dribble. Bam Moore is the type of player that can do that.
Now Canisius will go to a 2-3 zone here. They force a turnover. Bam Moore is a great hands, good steal man, coming up with the steal. Open in the corner, bullseye for Lampkin. Keith Lampkin, the freshman out of Langley Park, Maryland, out of DeMatha. He transferred from DeMatha, so he knows a lot of these kids very well, I'm sure.
He also knows how to win. If he played at DeMatha.
And we get a whistle.
We're going to get a chance to see another DeMatha player later on this evening, Travis Lyons from Manhattan College.
And now with timeout on the floor, Canisius opening up a surprising 8-point lead. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
Distinguish yourself at Manhattan College, ranked among the top Northeastern colleges and universities by U.S. News and World Report. Join our caring campus community in Riverdale, New York, where the student-to-professor ratio is 15-1. Be part of an impressive group of Manhattan College alumni, ranked 3rd in the nation in corporate leadership. Whether your goal is business, arts, education, engineering, or science, we'll help you show the world what makes you unique. Call 1-800-MC2-EXCEL.
Who's this? Hooter or Hutter? I got it.
That's Murph.
This game is brought to you in part by Pepsi-Cola. Nothing else is a Pepsi. Marine Midland Bank. Banking for the real world. And New York Lottery. Play New York Lotto because twice a week someone could win millions of dollars. Hey, you never know. And hey, you never know, Glenn Concert without Darryl Barley, the MAAC Player of the Year, out with a broken thumb suffered this week in practice. But the Golden Griffins would get off to the early lead here.
Still very early, doing a nice job getting the ball up the court, getting some easy baskets. See some full court pressure. It's a 1-1. It's actually a 1-2-1-1 full court pressure. They'll fall back into the 3-2.
Bambour running the show. He's the junior.
Loyola likes to show different looks. Some soft token pressure up and down the floor.
Meeks up high.
Love to trap by the hash marks.
Good defense being employed here. From the corner, Ryan Collins off the bench. And a guy who played a lot earlier but has seen a lot of time on the bench lately comes up with a big bucket. And Canisius leads by 10.
And Collins can stick it at 6'11". That's his spot right there. If I'm Loyola, you got to take away his catches. Be aware of where he is.
Anthony Smith got it inside. And as he went up, the shot was blocked. Nicilo Abraham, the good-looking rookie freshman out of St. Croix, Virgin Islands, averaging 8 points, got fouled. It'll be on Collins, his first, and the second team foul.
Abraham does a nice job of flashing to the basketball. He really came from the weak side to get open and just uses his body. That's a very strong body you're looking at as a freshman. You can imagine what he's going to look like by the time he's a senior if he stays in the weight room.
6'6", 230 pounds. I guess they feed him well down in the Virgin Islands, huh?
All muscle. Real strong.
Actually, he'd spent some time in high school in Hampton, Virginia, where he was second team All-Virginia. Averaged 18 points and 10 rebounds in high school. And you see that nose, of course, we mentioned it was broken in the last game between Loyola and Canisius up in Niagara Falls.
Taking a chance playing without that mask, Barry, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
After you break your nose 3 times.
6 times and you're out.
You don't want to take that chance.
Right now they swing it baseline. Good ball movement here. Collins got a man up over his back, and we have a foul called. They'll be on one of the little guys out there, and that's Milt Williams, who's just checked into the ball game.
And you're looking at Milt Williams at 6 feet going up to try to block 6'11" Ryan Collins. But that's a nice job drawing the defense inside. Collins wide open on the weak side. See, Williams just didn't rotate down quick enough. Fortunately for him, he didn't get hurt. Dangerous play.
Ball will be inbounded by Lampkin. And who's it going to be off? Let's see, our official, Bruce Shapiro, from the outside making the call. We have Jim Hutter and Leroy Hendricks, the other officials. Terrific crew here for this MAAC quarterfinal game. More basketball coming your way tonight. Manhattan and Niagara.
Watch Milt Williams, number 3, on your screen for Loyola play defense. He's everywhere with his very quick hands, great lateral foot speed.
Off in the corner, the jumper would not go for Kevin Thompson. The follow by Lampkin off the bench. He has provided a spark.
Searching desperately for that spark off the bench and that player that could step it up. Lampkin might be that guy.
Milt Williams looking inside. Loyola has, I believe, just 1 field goal here.
Powell's been quiet. Owens has been quiet.
From outside, the shot would not go, and they quickly get it up. Lampkin, and right there, Bambour running in to the Canisius, to the Iona player, Powell, and we get a whistle, and it'll be an offensive foul.
Nice job by Powell. Just standing there, he just took it. Good call by the official.
Well, team fouls are all even, but the score is not even. Canisius leading by 10, 16-6. And again, in case you're just tuning in, playing without the player of the year, Darryl Barley, out with a thumb injury. And as you mentioned, the guy who can light it up and maybe the player of the year for a lot of people's minds, Mike Powell, trying to get on track.
Powell has been quiet. He needs some more catches and looks at the basket.
Powell with 4 of his team's 8 points.
There's that 3-2 zone. Really a matchup. Has man-to-man principles. You see Powell on more. Stay with him.
Excuse me, Glenn. Kevin Worley from outside launching a 3. And out of bounds it goes. He's a 6'1" freshman. And with Frazier out, they have to go on the rotation to this kid who hasn't played a whole lot.
And Worley, he could shoot the ball, Barry. An excellent outside shooter. That time, the basket seemed like it was miles and miles away from that shot.
Brian Collins getting a seat on the bench. Michael Meeks back in. So it's Meeks, Dupree, and Lampkin playing up front. See the shooting. Loyola off to a rough start, 2 for 7. Now making 3 for 8 on the Sweet J by Teron Owens. And here's a guy that can really light it up from the outside.
One of the most improved players in the league, Teron Owens. Even though Loyola's not shooting the ball well, Barry, I think they're getting some pretty good looks. There's the trapping defense. They'll show different looks off of the 3-2 zone. They'll trap you in the hash marks. They'll trap you also out top by the half-court line. Nice pick.
Oh, great pass inside. Lampkin fouled, but good recognition that time by Bam Moore, who is one of the leaders in the country in assists, 6.3 a game. And he should have had assists there unless there was a foul.
Well, the nice thing was that Lampkin did a great job of moving into the seam behind the zone, playing peekaboo on the baseline. Bam Moore recognized it. Little pump fake draws the foul. That's one of the weaknesses when you're playing a 3-2 zone. You only have 2 guys playing under the basket. Exploit it.
Lampkin will get another one, averaging just about 3 points a game. At a high of 11 against Fairfield. He's had a very good game so far, 6 points. And misses both free throws. Canisius is one of the best free throw shooting teams in the conference, about 71%. Look away pass by Powell. Now gets it back. Milton Williams, one of the few seniors on this team. It's a very young Loyola team that has maybe arrived a year soon, Glenn, than most people thought.
Might be a year away. A lot of teams in the MAAC conference talk about the future of the MAAC conference. Might be a year away. Niagara, Manhattan's got some good young players as well.
Good defense here. Toronto, a shot clock running down with 1 second. Fired it. And Meeks has the ball. Canisius with a 5-point lead.
I like to see those guards go in and get it. Bam Moore picking up those long rebounds.
Meeks in the lane. And Dupree tips it in, but it will not count. We had a foul on the drive. And again, for Michael Meeks, who's been a premier player, a really chance, he's experienced the disappointment of the last 3 years that they've had.
Somewhat, but Meeks could score. His ability to score and find seams of the zone is really his strength. He can shoot the ball from the outside. Not your stereotypical big man that can just do it on the blocks for you.
Nicky Frazier is back in. You see right there coming into the ball game, Anthony Smith for Loyola. And right now, Michael Meeks will go to the line. Interesting to see how Frazier does after going down with that injury. He's a tough kid. He's a senior from Bel Air, Texas. This young man from Ontario will hit the free throw, and Canisius leads by 7. We've got a timeout on the floor. The Golden Griffins lead the Greyhounds. We'll be right back. You're watching MAAC basketball on the MAAC Television Network. This job. All right, you got it, Glenn.
Canisius doing a nice job with perimeter pressure, going back to the zone, and Owens is the zone buster. The defense got there too late. He has that quick release on his shot.
Guys hit 53s this year to lead his club in that department. He and Mike Powell are the big 3-point shooters. And there you see the shooting. Loyola just 3 for 9. And Canisius 6 for 11. Brian Ellaby's club, if you talk to both coaches, you expect a game with these two clubs the way they've played, 60-point game. You're going to get in the 60s. That's about it, right, Glenn?
It's a good call. You see the points in the paint. Canisius, and that's a point in the paint.
That's an emphatic point in the paint by Abraham. He has, you know, since the nose injury, and he's also got another injury as well. That's going to be a foul as Teron Owens was taken down.
Hey, I like the different looks both teams are throwing defensively. Canisius came out
Number 3, Kevin Thompson.
with full court pressure. There's the point in the paint.
How about an exclamation point?
Abraham goes up with the power game in the paint. And for all you kids watching out there, that's how you want to go up. 2 hands off 2 feet. Go strong.
He had a neck injury as well, Abraham, besides that broken nose, and he's recovering from that neck injury. But he played a lot better earlier. It was a lot more impressive when he was MAAC Rookie of the Week 2 or 3 times.
I like his game. Tons of potential offensively.
Now Loyola starting to hit the outside shot. Anthony Smith averaging 14 points a game, and suddenly the lead is down to 3 and a timeout taken by John Beeline.
Good TO by John Beeline. Slow things down a little bit. Loyola exploiting the defense by stepping into the seams. I think Beeline's got to get out of the zone and go to the man, which is okay. Good timeout.
In case you just tuning in earlier today, Iona with an impressive effort from the big guy in the middle, Mikkel Larson, and Greg Barr held off a very gritty Siena club to win 71-59.
Well said, Barry. I think Siena did a great job of staying in that game by playing intense basketball.
Well, this copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and Host Communications may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC and host. Barry Landers, Glenn Concert from Albany, the Knickerbocker Arena, where Canisius is holding on to a 3-point lead, playing without their star, Darryl Varley. Out with a thumb injury. Penetrating down the lane and having trouble on the drive that time was Kevin Thompson.
You know, Barry, you mentioned the 3-2 zone, and Brian Elby, when you talk to him about it, he doesn't even like to play the 3-2 zone, doesn't like to coach that way. He just feels with the personnel that he has and really the lack of depth that he has to go with that 3-2 zone to keep those players on the floor, but it's been effective nonetheless.
Of course, that's the key to coaching. You see the 3-point field goal shooting here. Either club doing a lot from the outside in the early going. Good ball movement here inside, and Lamar Butler able to finish it off.
Good catch by Butler. Good hands. That's what I'm talking about with Lamar Butler. He's got those good hands for a freshman, 6'11".
Loyola on a run right now. Butler with 4. Mickey Frazier back in the ball game. They go inside Dupree, trying to get it to Frazier. Good defense. Meeks will recover. Batted away. And we'll have a tie-up on the alternate possession arrow. Ball will stay in the hands of the Golden Griffins.
Boy, when Meeks caught the ball in the paint, everybody collapsed.
10 seconds left on the clock. Long-range 3 for Kevin Thompson. He's done well, almost 40% from 3-point range, the sophomore from Silver Springs, Maryland.
That's one of the ways you're going to extend that defense. Shoot perimeter shots. Bring them out.
Lead is 4 for Canisius. Loyola with the basketball. Powell driving on Thompson. Owens with a fake. Good ball movement here to get Powell open for a nice-looking 3-pointer.
See, Powell just attracts so much attention. Everybody left the perimeter to go to Powell in the corner. Owens left wide open.
Canisius holding on to a 1-point lead. Meeks, good ball movement here. Off the missed shot, taken by Powell.
Bam not known for his shooting.
Now Bam Moore would rather pass it off. And we got a whistle and a foul as Canisius was trying to bring it up. Mickey Frazier got fouled. That'll stop the clock. Team fouls are 5-4 in favor of Canisius. Teron Owens picks up the foul. Now it'll be the 6th team foul on Loyola, and Canisius will bring it down.
Ill-advised shot by Powell in transition. Just kind of pulled the trigger. Not what Brian Elby wanted to see.
Mickey Frazier buries the 3. Mickey Frazier with 65 3-pointers on the year.
Too easy. The zone is not rotating to the shooters.
5 for Frazier, and Canisius now with a 4-point lead.
Brian Elby might have to get out of that 3-2 zone, Barry. He might not have a choice.
Come out and play a little man-to-man.
Got to match up with the shooters.
Abraham tightly guarded by Dupree. Powell now, Canisius playing man-to-man. inside to the big guy. He dished it off to Powell. And John Beeline can't believe that there was a foul called. He's got that pained look, hands on his hips, and saying, "Are you kidding?"
After all I've been through, that's what he's saying. After all I've been through, there's no Barley playing. Give me a call once in a while. Here it is. Powell goes up. He gets bumped with the body. That's a good call.
Mickey Frazier will pick up the foul, his second 15 foul. And we'll get a substitution momentarily. Brian Ellaby now talking to Anthony Smith. What a change in personnel for this Loyola team. You know, Teron Owens is the only guy back from last year's team that played any significant minutes, with Julian Tate's minutes down, and they've really blended and come together.
9 newcomers on this team from Loyola.
Powell misses both, batted around. Powell comes up with the basketball. Smith. Loyola down by 4. Canisius has led from the very outset here. Loyola made a nice run to get back. Powell trying to post down low against the smaller player, deflected away. And we got a foul call. It'll go this time against Loyola. So Powell was trying to post his man down low. He can play anywhere on the court. He's a terrific athlete.
Well, that's why he's so dangerous, trying to take advantage.
We've got a timeout on the floor right now. Canisius leading by 4, 7:12 to go in the first half. You're watching the MAAC. Well, we'll let you know that you are watching the MAAC television network. And the free throws coming up from Michael Meeks. Meeks, first team All-MAAC last couple of years. He's 24 years of age, so he's probably the oldest player in the league. Maybe a couple of those Israeli guys might be older. You've got Hillel Gadat playing, of course, for Siena. And Mr. Cohn playing for Fairfield. So an ecumenical league here in the MAAC. As Meeks will get another one. Looking for point number 6. Now we have a timeout on the court. Canisius leading by 6. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the MAAC television network.
St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey, believes a student should develop as a whole person. We educate our students through a demanding curriculum informed by values. With more than 3,400 students born in 65 countries, St. Peter's is one of the most international and interesting colleges in the country. As a charter member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, we are committed to excellence in athletics and integrity in academics. St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey.
John Beeline, who's done a terrific job in his 4 years at Canisius, been a great recruiter. Didn't come from a very big college, went to Wheeling Jesuit College in West Virginia, did a great job at Lemoyne, a Division II program, has done an equally outstanding job here at Canisius.
And if he pulls off this victory without the MAAC Player of the Year, another feather in his cap. Beeline works hard.
You know, Glenn, it would be kind of ironic if they do, you know, run the table, so to speak, win this game and maybe even go on, because they've been favorites pretty much the last couple of years to get to the final game, and they haven't. They had the great player last year, Craig Wise, the player of the year, plus Meeks and Barley, and couldn't get there.
A little twist of irony if that's the case, Barry, for sure. But, you know, Canisius is not the only team that has been snake-bitten this year. You think about Loyola, Blanchard Hurd out, Platt, one of the big men inside, out with an injury. McDonald left the team, and then you see Loyola with the little push inside. Tate does a nice job getting open. That's what I'm talking about, moving to the open area. But it's not just those injuries. Manhattan, Keaton Hyman, and Ellis, the backcourt losing. Hoover out.
Good point, Glenn. A lot of teams have been facing adversity.
Fairfield, Brent Wall out. Shane Miller was out a good portion.
Yep, excellent point. We got a
Niagara, Watson was hurt a little bit. Felton now out, starting point guard. So the list goes on, and can't just feel bad for one team, Barry. You got to think of all the other teams in the MAAC.
Foul will be on Milt Williams as Jam Moore brings it down.
Well, Bam trying to create something before the zone is set. Defense got there a little too late, trying to draw the offensive foul. But that's exactly what John Beeline wants Bam Moore to do. Push the ball up the floor. Don't let that 3-2 zone set up.
Javon is given name. Young man out of Bishop Ford High School in Brooklyn. Excellent student. 3.14 GPA in management marketing.
I like that nickname, Bam.
It's a nice nickname, especially if you shoot.
I got a little
bullseye
16-month at home that we call Bam Bam. Breaking everything, walking around with tables, knocking down things off of tables.
Right now, Loyola down by 8, 6:35 to go. Powell has led them in the early going here. But they need scoring from this guy. Anthony Smith is another big scorer. Remember, he's averaging 14 a game. And Toronto owns the other guy. Tightly guarded by Lampkin. Good D by Lampkin, Glenn.
They're playing really tough D out top.
Shot clock is now down to 6. Smith on the drive. Good pass, but the freshman had trouble handling the ball. Lamar Butler should have had an easy layup there.
They're switching on the blocks and playing tough man on the perimeter. It's coming to really hurt Loyola right now.
Little helter-skelter. Moore had it knocked out of his hand, but they say off of his hand. And we'll get a substitution. Mike Powell, a short breather on the bench, will come back in.
Canisius doing a nice job with their defense, playing tough man-to-man principles out top. And the two guys are like playing a zone at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's confusing Loyola.
Smith will bring it down. Loyola, as they did in the last game they played against Canisius, struggling offensively in the first half.
Now Beeline switching up to a 2-3. Changing up his defenses, trying to confuse the Greyhounds.
Ron Owens looking. Worley tightly guarding him. Good man-to-man. Now they double up on the ball. The look inside for Julian Tate. And we get a whistle to foul call.
Now, did you see when Tate caught the ball on the blocks? Butler did not flash to the open area. He still caught it. He was wide open. But you got to make that big step into the gap. Just wasn't there.
Yeah. And right now, Julian Tate will go to the line. Last time these two clubs played, he came off the bench, did an excellent job when Smith went down with a broken nose. This guy had been sort of buried on the bench. He was a starter last year. Young man out of New Jersey. You see Monmouth Junction, averaging just 3 points a game.
Has some athletic genes. There's the putback, missed assignment.
You like that kid, Lamar Butler. And look at Beeline saying there was a push there.
I love him, and Beeline doesn't. Rightfully so.
Beeline wanted to make a beeline out to that official and tell him, hey, there was a push there.
Little shove by the freshman. Got away with it.
And Butler up and to a good start coming off the bench. He has 6 points. 6 of Loyola's only 22. Worley with the shot clock at 15. Bad pass picked off by Anthony Smith. And he'll emphatically bring it down. So just like that, Loyola back within 4. They were down 8 a moment ago.
Smith plays the passing lane so well. But Canisius got caught in the corners. You got to get open, move. Don't expect the ball to come to you.
We're against that 3-2 zone. Meeks playing up top. He can shoot from outside. But he'd rather go in the paint. Nice drive this way. Puts the shot up. And will they count the basket? No. Canisius crowd wanted the bucket, but they will not get it. Foul before the shot.
Well, if we're in the NBA, this counts. Because the bump was up top. Right there's the bump. Continuation. It goes, but not in college.
Lamar Butler picks up the foul. They're over the limit. Now wholesale substitutions. Worley sits down. Lampkin sits down. Collins sits down. Frazier and Thompson back in.
I like the way Beeline's working his bench.
And Dupree.
He's got good rotations, as does Brian Elby.
Right now, Milt Williams, you see number 3, has also reported back in the game. Adds a lot of stability to this very young team, doesn't he, Glenn?
He adds stability. He also adds defensive pressure. He's on my all-MAAC defensive team.
Boy, they're missing some big free throws here. Meeks with 6, especially when you get the front end of those 1-and-1s. And again, when you get a game where your points are going to be hard to come by, again, you figure a game in the 60s, those free throws that you miss can come back to haunt you.
They show 2-3, then they go right into the 3-2.
Wayne Johnson now in the ball game. And the shot from the corner is good. Powell coming up with the bucket. He has 9. And just like that, Loyola's back within 2, Glenn. It's figured to be the closest of the 4 quarterfinal matches, the 4 and 5 teams playing. And Anthony Smith, he's got Powell on the break. Smith will force the shot and get a charge. Bad play. Anthony Smith, he had Powell wide open, and Powell gives him a look right now as if to say, hey, didn't you see me, Powell?
3-on-2 fast break. Just a bad decision. See, it's 3-on-2 right here. Give it to the foul line. Dwayne Johnson, number 30, wide open for a little dunk or a little 5-foot jumper.
All right, Glenn, we've got timeout on the floor right now. 3:48 to go. As expected, a close one. It's Canisius by 2 on the MAAC Television Network.
If you are in high school and you want to play sports at an NCAA Division I or II school, you must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Ask your coach or guidance counselor for one of these student release forms. Fill it out and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, you can't compete as a freshman in NCAA Division I or II. For more information, call area code 319-337-1492.
We are part of the crowd here at the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany. Some of the kids enjoying the action. On your next trip to the Capital District for business, pleasure, or the MAAC tournament, why not stay at the full-service Omni Hotel? The Omni is just 1 block from the Knickerbocker Arena in downtown Albany. And for reservations, call area code 518-462-6611. We're staying at the Omni. A very convenient 5-minute walk to the Knickerbocker Arena. Well, it's been a very slow pace to this game. Not a lot of fouls called. Neither team's really had any kind of explosion. How do you read it?
Well, right now, defense is really controlling this game, kind of holding down the leading scorers. You see Powell and Meeks, the two guys we think would be in those categories. They're up there, but in the way of the ebb and flow of this game, it's been slow. No one really able to go on a run. Both teams throwing the ball away in transition and trying to execute a half-court offense. So we've been stagnated a little bit.
Julian Tate picks up the foul, his second. Dupree will go to the line. Low-scoring game, 28-26. Canisius by 2. Canisius, the last couple of years, much more high-scoring, kind of a team. They ran the ball a little bit more. Now they're relying on their defense a lot to win some games for them.
I think they always have been a defensive-minded team. Craig Wise, in the years past, has always been one of the better defensive players in the league. And now just the complexion of this team has changed when you lose a player of Barley's magnitude. You lose that go-to guy. You lose the guy that can put points on the board for you. The automatic 2.
Right now, Canisius without Barley, who's out again, once again, with a thumb injury. Leading by 3. They've hung tough here. Powell, tightly guarded. In that 2-3 zone. Down to 3:05 to go here in the first half. Smith from the corner. And the ball comes right down to Fairfield. Brazier brought it down. Thompson's pass, Meeks double teamed in the corner. Bad play. Should have called a timeout maybe there, Glenn.
That's where deflections come into play. Good job on the trap by Loyola. Nobody reached.
Powell, unbelievably tough shot. And Julian Tate stepped on the end line.
See, they're not getting any type of continuity in their offense. They're relying too much on the one-on-one move. You don't see any types of plays where 4 or 5 guys touch the basketball, and I think it's hurting Loyola right now.
Turnovers just about even, so is the score just about even. Canisius by 3. They've led most of the way. Frazier from the corner. Batted around, and Powell will hustle to get the rebound.
You have to have your guards go in and get those long rebounds when you play the 3-2 zone.
Mike Powell with 9 points has not shot that well. 3 for 8. He's a scorer. He'll get his points. Smith looking inside to the freshman. Terrible shot that time by Dwayne Johnson. And with under 2 minutes to go, Canisius a chance to build on their 3-point lead. Meeks into traffic, contact with Anthony Smith. We're going to get a tie-up. Jim Hunter making the call closest to the ball there.
Dupree was wide open. Meeks just couldn't get it to him.
And also making the call was Bruce Shapiro, the referee.
Well, you look at the pre-open, number 21, right under the basket. Give it to him. Look at all the traffic he attracts.
And Milt Williams over there getting a little education
From Ronnie Thompson. Excellent recruiter, one of the top assistants in this league. Him and Herb Cruzen as well. Herb, tremendous teacher for Brian Elby.
Alley-oop for Smith, but Tate hit the rim. Missed inside by Lamar Butler. And Dupree saves it. On the run, Moore. Thompson pulling up. Bullseye for Thompson. And it's a 5-point lead. Canisius 31, Loyola 26. Loyola in a drought here. They haven't scored in quite a while.
This zone really hurting Loyola, not executing against the zone. So you don't have anyone cut through. No one's overloading one side, which is what you need to do against this type of zone. Now you see Powell going to the corner. That's nice. Now he comes back out to get it. Doesn't help his team over there.
Nope. Shot clock is down to 12. Look inside. Butler, good pass off. Tate pulling up. Again, Tate follows his own miss. Butler will softly put it in. Boy, Lamar Butler giving him quite a lift. 9 points off the bench.
I like the freshman. I've been working Brian Elby and telling him he got to play that guy.
Well, if somebody would have told you, Glenn, that Michael Meeks would have one field goal, Darryl Barley wouldn't be playing, and Canisius would still lead by 3, what would you have thought?
I wouldn't believe it.
That's exactly what's happened.
But we're seeing it. And they're doing it with great defense. The zone is really...
And we talked about other guys stepping up in the absence of the stars.
And we're seeing that as well.
Clock running out. Tip up is good. Michael Meeks. And Canisius goes to the locker room with a 5-point lead. We'll be back with the Marine Midland halftime report. You're watching MAAC basketball on the MAAC television network.
Enjoy drink specials, munchies, DJ, and dancing at Kelsey's, located just 2 blocks from the deck.
Hello. And I throw it back to them. Is that the idea? Back at halftime, the Marine Midland MAAC quarterfinal, number 2 for the day. It's the Canisius Golden Griffins with a 5-point lead over the Greyhounds. Brian Ellerby of Loyola, 33-28 is the score right now. Don't forget, we've got more college basketball coming up later today. The night session will feature Manhattan against Niagara and Fairfield against the defending tournament champion, the Peacocks of St. Peter's. So be sure to stay with us throughout that. We'll be carrying you along, of course, with halftime activities and catch you up on all the quarterfinals. And we'll be back again tomorrow night. We'll have 2 semifinals for you on these networks, and we hope you can join us as we get down to the MAAC champion. Now let's go to Barry Landers and Glenn Consor for more on what we saw in the first half.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Canisius Glenn Consor with a 5-point lead, got off to the big start. Loyola made a run, and right now they've got to feel pretty good about a 5-point lead with Meeks just getting 2 shots in that first half and Barley not playing.
Well, I think the question this first half is which team can execute against a zone defense, and right now Canisius doing a nice job of moving the ball around the perimeter.
Hello. And I throw it back to them. Is that the idea? Back at halftime, the Marine Midland MAAC quarterfinal, number 2 for the day. It's the Canisius Golden Griffins with a 5-point lead over the Greyhounds. Brian Ellerby of Loyola, 33-28 is the score right now. Don't forget, we've got more college basketball coming up later today. The night session will feature Manhattan against Niagara and Fairfield against the defending tournament champion, the Peacocks of St. Peter's. So be sure to stay with us throughout that. We'll be carrying you along, of course, with halftime activities and catch you up on all the quarterfinals. And we'll be back again tomorrow night. We'll have 2 semifinals for you on these networks, and we hope you can join us as we get down to the MAAC champion. Now let's go to Barry Landers and Glenn Consor for more on what we saw in the first half.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Canisius, Glenn Consor with a 5-point lead, got off to the big start. Loyola made a run, and right now they've got to feel pretty good about a 5-point lead with Meeks just getting 2 shots in that first half and Barley not playing.
Well, I think the question this first half is which team can execute against a zone defense, and right now Canisius doing a nice job of moving the ball around the perimeter. Loyola really struggling against the 2-3 zone. Too many guys standing around. They're not overloading. There's no real strategy, just relying on one-on-one play, and you can't do that against the zone.
Well, Canisius shot very well, 53%. Didn't have a lot of shots, though. Only 19 shots in that first
Well,
half.
they're executing. They're doing a nice job of working the ball around the perimeter, and they're making their 3-point shot to shoot 52% against the zone. You should have a lead.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Loyola counterattacks in that second half. Their defense played pretty good. Their offense has to get on track. As you said, they've got to move the ball better.
Yeah, they have to create opportunities with their defense. Loyola does do a nice job of 2-2-1 full court pressure. Also, they do a nice job of man pressure. We haven't seen much of it. They need opportunities and possessions with the basketball in transition to get back in this game.
All right, we'll be back with more from the Knickerbocker Arena right now at halftime. The lead is 5. Canisius 33, Loyola 28. This game is brought to you in part by Pepsi-Cola. Nothing else is a Pepsi. By Marine Midland Bank, banking for the real world. And New York Lottery. Play New York Lotto because twice a week, someone could win millions of dollars. Hey, you never know. We're back at the Knickerbocker Arena. At halftime, Canisius holding a 5-point lead in the second of our 4 quarterfinal games. And right now, standing by Mike Crispino with a special guest, Bill Curl.
Well, thank you, Barry. We're here with Bill Curl, who's the Vice President for Sports Marketing for SMG, which is a group that manages many of the arenas and stadiums around the great United States. And for those college students who are tuning in, what exactly is your job with SMG?
My job is to work in sports events with all the SMG facilities, and I'm anchored at the Louisiana Superdome. We have basketball tournaments, hockey tournaments, everything you can imagine, and this is the greatest time of the year. There's nothing like March Madness.
Now, when you come into the building prior to an event like this, what types of activities are you involved with to get this arena ready for a tournament like this?
Well, on this particular visit, we're in an actual competitive bid with Buffalo for the continuance of the MAAC tournament, and we're also planning for the NCAA Hockey Eastern Regional Finals, which will be here at the Knickerbocker Arena in 3 weeks. We're talking to Jack Powers and the people at the NIT about some NIT possibilities in this building and about 3 others, and boredom is not a problem right now.
When you assess a building and an event like the MAAC tournament, for instance, how do you approach that? What do you look for in terms of positive or negatives, and when you want to go and approach an event to come to a certain building?
Well, the good thing about it is the positives far outweigh the negatives in all cases, but the real link is the local people, the local conference, the local school. Our relationship here with Siena and with Rich Enser and the MAAC goes far beyond just a few games or one tournament. We've been helpful to each other on NIT opportunities. We've been helpful to each other on our attempts to manage other facilities where Rich has spoken up for us, and it's a great relationship. We've got great friends here in Albany and in the MAAC conference, and it's nice to get up here and see the people.
Certainly is. Bill Curl will be back again next year for the MAAC tournament here in Albany. Thanks for joining us. We have more halftime activities coming up from the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York on the MAAC Television Network.
Welcome to Loyola College in Maryland. Here at Loyola, we seek to educate the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
Loyola believes in excellence. academic excellence and athletic excellence. At Loyola, it takes more than just being an athlete to make it. I think the athletics makes you more focused on your academics.
And so here at Loyola, I find a good balance between athletics and academics.
I think I've learned a lot from playing lacrosse. You prioritize your work. You feel good about yourself.
I'm taking away from that the feeling that you can accomplish things.
Walking through campus, I mean, obviously parents are happy if they have one daughter or son here. People get to know you. Next year, a freshman comes in from the same family.
Students come to Loyola because they want the skills that will help them make a good living. We give them the skills that will help them to make a good life.
Okay. No problem. Where'd she go, this that gal? We'll just find out what their biggest lead was. They had a 10-point lead. Back in Albany at the Marine Midland MAAC quarterfinals, the Canisius Golden Griffins with a 5-point lead, 33-28. And right now, let's take a look at some of our halftime highlights. Glenn Concert.
Well, perimeter busting, zone busting, outside shooting has really enabled Canisius to maintain and establish a lead. You saw Thompson stick at one, and now you're going to see Mickey Frazier just pull up. The zone can't rotate quick enough, as you can see. He just exploits the gaps.
They hit 4 3-pointers in that first half, the Canisius Golden Griffins.
Struggling to execute a half-court offense, Loyola did some nice things in transition as Abraham beats everybody down for a little slam. Williams did a nice job of pushing the ball up the floor, but Loyola really staying in this game because they're doing a nice job pounding the offensive glass. Tate throws up a brick, gets his own rebound, and Butler with the finish.
How about Lamar Butler, 8 points, second to Mike Powell, because Abraham has not been a factor, just 1 field goal so far in the game. We'll be back with the start of the second half. Canisius by 5 on the MAAC television network.
St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey, believes a student should develop as a whole person. We educate our students through a demanding curriculum informed by values. With more than 3,400 students born in 65 countries, St. Peter's is one of the most international and interesting colleges in the country. As a charter member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, we are committed to excellence in athletics and integrity in academics. St. Peter's College, the Jesuit College of New Jersey.
No shots, 19 shots, yet they're hitting them. 3-pointers, the difference.
Yeah.
Went to the line more. You could say it, Leroy. Hey, Murph. How you doing? Where do you got tomorrow? You here tomorrow? All right. Okay.
Good first half.
Oh. That's ready, right? Barry Landers and Glenn Concert back here in Albany, just about ready for the second half with Canisius on top by 5. Let's take a look at the first half statistics.
First half stats, when you really take a look at them, you take a look at the shooting percentage from Loyola, 42%. They're not really doing the job on the offensive boards. Struggling from the 3-point line, 2 for 7. Normally they have some very good 3-point shooters. Free throws, not really getting to the line that much, only 4 for 7, not really hurting them. But The big deceiving stat right here, Barry, is rebounds. Canisius has 15 rebounds. 12 of those 15 are defensive rebounds, and what that means is that Loyola is not able to hit the offensive boards, preventing them for second chance opportunities.
Bench scoring very important because Barley is out. They need a lift from people on the bench. Keith Lampkin provided that lift with 5 points in limited time in that first half.
And no one really coming off the bench for Loyola to do some damage. Tate came in, didn't put any points on the boards. Milt Williams didn't score either. And there's your scoring leaders right there. Meeks, no surprise. Thompson, no surprise.
Now, Meeks has gotten just 2 field goals. He's gotten fouled, he's gone to the line and hit some free throws. They got to get him the ball more often, you'd think, Glenn.
Yeah, I think one of the things Meek has to do is start flashing to the gaps of that zone. But, you know, they're playing man-to-man principles on Meeks at all times.
All right, so we'll begin the second half with Canisius with a 5-point lead on the basketball. We'll re-identify the players for you. Kevin Thompson continuing his hot shooting. Remember, he had 24 points the last time these two clubs played in the Loyola 1-point overtime win.
Thompson just sitting in the gap. They left him wide open.
He has 11 to lead all scorers. Powell, nice look. Oh, and Anthony Smith.
Throw it up and let him go get it. Anthony Smith has the major league hops.
Well, the 2 transfers doing a little electrifying play right there. Van Moore backs it out against the 3-2 zone. Powell playing on the sideline there. Want to force these guys to the sideline. That's when you get in trouble. Dupree, top of the key. We'll reset the lineup for you. Frazier, who hurt his ankle in that first half. From the corner, Moore missing. The tip is good by Dupree. No box out there.
Part of the problem of playing that zone is you have to find men rather than a space to box out.
First field goal for Dupree. The lead is 8 for Canisius. Toronto and swings it to Smith. Pulling up for the jumper. Way short. Comes down to Dupree.
Smith gets anxious, makes a big play, dunks on like 3 or 4 people, then comes down, throws up a brick.
Kevin Thompson. Oh, look at Frazier's guy for that rebound. And we're going to get a push on the rebound here. Let's see. Yep, it's going to go, I believe, on Michael Meeks. A little overly aggressive. But what a play by Mickey Frazier. He went airborne. And he's only 6'3".
Well, you see, the guards aren't boxing out. Look where he comes from. Comes from out top. You got to lay a body on the guards coming in to crash, and that's the guards' responsibilities.
It's Anthony Smith, number 13, I believe, the man that didn't box him out there. Prevent him from crashing the board. Speaking of Smith, throws the ball off the hands of his teammate, Abraham, who was posting up down low. There is the coaching staff of the Loyola Greyhounds. Brian Ellaby with his hand to his mouth, nodding.
Herb cruising to his left and Ronnie Thompson to his right. Still trying to figure out a solution to this zone.
Well, they've done a terrific job. Again, this club has won quite a few games. A lot of people didn't expect them to win. Meeks went up, got tied up, and on the alternate possession arrow, Loyola will get the ball. He has drawn a crowd every time he's had the ball. Give credit to Loyola for really, you know, collapsing on him.
Yeah, they're just really hounding him when he gets the ball. The guards come down and the forwards come up. And you know what that means, Barry? Somebody's open. You got to play hot potato with that basketball and get it to the open man.
Well, moving the ball a lot better in this second half. Toronto, who had a slow first half, got it inside, and Butler off the nice feed from Smith.
Nice ball movement. The ball movement created the opening because the defense down low could not rotate quick enough.
Lamar Butler with 10 points, a career high already, Glenn. Guy came in averaging a point and a half.
I like him.
Thompson, Meeks stumbling, tipped away by Powell. Backing it out more, still a lot of time left, 10 on the shot clock. Frazier on the drive, backed it in.
That's one way to get to the gap.
7 for Frazier. He's a senior. He knows the frustration that Canisius has had in this tournament. Knocked away, and here they come. The Golden Griffins leading by 8. Thompson missing that last one, and Butler with the rebound. You know, this is all the makings of the last game these two clubs played. Canisius had the lead early in the second half, and it was Loyola chipping away. And eventually it was Canisius that had to tie it on a MAAC shot at the buzzer.
Loyola likes to hang around. They do it with their defense. And all of a sudden you see them take the lead on some explosions. Canisius obviously trying to maintain that lead.
Frazier trying to guard the tricky Powell who draws the foul. And, you know, you mentioned something that I thought was very appropriate. Loyola did not draw many fouls in that first. They only went to the line 7 times. They don't have a great interior game, but fouls like this here will give them to the line.
So Powell just draws it. Just kind of went up, threw it up with his left hand.
Gonna call it a non-shooting foul.
You know, Barry, the lack of going to the foul line by Loyola was primarily created because they're playing against the zone, and that makes you rely on outside shooting like that.
Boy, Teron Owens, who's normally a great outside shooter, now 1 for 7, Glenn. He has been a key figure down the stretch for the Golden Grip, for the Greyhounds.
See, if Owens isn't making outside shots, you can cheat on Powell.
8-point Canisius lead. They led by 5 at the half. Good inside play. Dupree recovers. Thompson put it on the floor and he traveled. We've got a timeout on the floor. 15:52 to go, second half, and Canisius leads by 8. You're watching the MAAC quarterfinals on the MAAC Television Network.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying the game. My name is Chris McGinnis, and from 1981 to 1985, I was a student at Fairfield and a member of the women's basketball team. I'm currently a real estate attorney in Manhattan. While at Fairfield, I had the opportunity to receive a top-notch education and to compete nationally on a Division I level. While life as a student athlete was not easy, I found that both the faculty and the athletic department at Fairfield have a real appreciation for the challenges faced by a student athlete. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't all work and no play. I tried my best to take full advantage of the numerous social activities that Fairfield has to offer. Looking back, I'd have to say that Fairfield has contributed tremendously to any success I've had after college. Knowing what I know today, I'd choose Fairfield in a heartbeat, and I'd encourage any high school student faced with the same decision to do the same.
We are back. Barry Landers and Glenn Concert at the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany. The third game of an odyssey. 6 games of basketball here, and we'll be on throughout the evening. Mike Crispino and yours truly, Barry Landers, Glenn Concert. Mimi Griffin going to join us a little bit later for our next women's game. We'll pitch Loyola going up against Manhattan. Should be a good game. Manhattan a real surprise, and Loyola the defending champion on the women's side. And earlier today, for you women's basketball fans, Fairfield stunned St. Peter's, the #1 seed, and they will play in the championship game against the winner of Manhattan and Loyola.
Christine Fryer just dominated and took over the end of that game.
What a terrific
Quite
game.
a player.
Anxious to see Gina Soma with the spotlight on her today for Manhattan, Glenn.
Points. You think of Gina Soma, you think of points and rebounds. Just that simple.
26 points, a scoring machine, one of the leaders in the nation. Anthony Smith with the miss. And the rebound to Frazier. Mickey Frazier pushing it up. And Moore will settle it down. Moore, Frazier work the backcourt along with Kevin Thompson. So really 3 guards in the game right now. Ryan Collins has checked in. The rebounding edge, a big one for Canisius.
That's been the telltale of this game right here. That's why they have this lead. The defensive rebounds and stopping fast break basketball.
Boy, Mickey Frazier, since coming back from the ankle injury, doing a good job.
And they're showing good patience against the zone. Openings against that 3-2 zone is right where Frazier took that shot. Dead to corners.
9 points for Frazier, so they're doing it without Meeks contributing a whole lot. Abraham with the shot. They've collapsed on him and leaving a lot of open open shooters.
Well, now Canisius going with the 3-guard offense, but they also have the 2 6'11" guys in, Meeks and Collins on the blocks. 2 guys they can get it to.
That time they try to force it inside. Thompson trying to put it in traffic there.
Bad angle.
However, Canisius will retain possession as the ball knocked out. Mike Powell not too happy. Throws the ball back to Jim Hunter. And Leroy Hendricks, the official, will hand the ball to Mickey Frazier. John Beeline's club playing well with the adversity. Meeks says it's my turn now. Spun away, knocked away. Good defense by Anthony Smith. Loyola down 8. Toronto is trying to get on track. He's still having his problems. Now 1 for 9. And the ball goes back over to the Golden Griffs.
And I like the fact that Ellaby is sticking with Owens, who is a senior, the lone senior on this Loyola team. Wide open is Owens. Just couldn't convert, really didn't get his legs into that shot. But he's leaving him in, and I like it.
Good decision, I think.
Absolutely.
Thompson, Moore, and Frazier with 3 guards in the game right now. Meeks and Collins, the bookends, and 6'11" inside. Shot clock at 11. Good look for Collins going up against Abraham and count the basket. Ryan Collins, who again started the season very, very strong. Finished last year in the tournament pretty strong and struggled a bit, had some injuries, coming up here with a big bucket.
Hey, he needed a catcher's mitt to catch this ball. That's a dart he threw. Good hands by Collins, and look at the finish with the upper body strength. A little mismatch with Abraham. 6'6" going up against 6'11". But again, the good ball movement, that back portion of the zone couldn't rotate quick enough, and that's what you get.
I've been impressed by how Canisius has handled the 3-2 zone with, as you said, Glenn, the good ball movement, and they've opened up an 11-point lead, which I think is their biggest lead of the ball game.
Bam Moore really threw a dart.
Yeah. You know, quietly, he doesn't, I don't think, get the credit he deserves because he's got an incredible ratio of assists to turnovers.
He's had a great year this season, and Bam doesn't shoot the ball real well, but he does some nice things on the floor in transition.
Canisius playing like a team that wants to go to the next game with a lot of purpose. Frazier from the corner. Oh! Mickey Frazier buries the 3.
Spotting up. I know the 3-2 zone has been a mainstay for Brian Ellaby's team, but it might be time to switch to a man, Brian.
Another 3-pointer. They've hit 5 of them so far in this game, and they lead by 14. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
If you are in high school and you want to play sports at an NCAA Division I or II school, you must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Ask your coach or guidance counselor for one of these student release forms. Fill it out and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, you can't compete as a freshman in NCAA Division I or II. For more information, call area code 319-337-1492.
It's Knickerbocker Arena and the MAAC Block pays special thanks to Marine Midland Bank for their continued support of the MAAC basketball tournament. Their generosity helps make our championship weekend the special event that it is. The MAAC would like to thank the following sponsors: Fortron, makers of the Fox 40 whistle.
We're back at the Knickerbocker Arena. Canisius leading 48-34. Thanks to some excellent outside shooting, Glenn. They're lighting it up, especially here in the second half. And I'll tell you, when they shoot well from the outside, they are a very tough club to beat. And right now they're shooting very well from the outside.
Canisius shooting 52% from the floor, and you have to give a lot of credit to good patience on offense. Brian Ellaby, I mentioned it right before the break. I think it's time to get out of that zone and go straight up to a man. No time to lose or waste right now.
Well, you just saw some youngsters and some teachers there in a group, part of the program that the MAAC has sponsored. Teachers involved with the education of these young teachers, excited about motivation. And they look like some very motivated youngsters.
They're fired up, got their horns. ready to do some damage.
And if you're a Canisius fan watching in Buffalo, you got to be fired up the way this team is playing today. Bam Moore with some great looks inside. Frazier wisely did not shoot it. Now Frazier throws it away.
Almost took Meek's head off with that pass. He throws some hard passes, Bam Moore.
Butler challenging Meeks, and Collins got hammered. And let's see if they call it in the act of shooting. Right. Collins having a couple of words there.
There's a little dish inside to Butler. A little pump fake gets Collins. Collins wasn't even near the play, and he still went to the fake.
Non-shooting fouls. We get another look.
Man, he get hammered.
Now back to the live action. Powell way off the mark. And another good-looking big freshman, Dwayne Johnson, puts it in. So Johnson and Butler providing a big lift inside, but then not getting anything from Smith or from Powell or from Ayton.
Powell's been quiet. He needs to take over. He's a takeover type guy, and he can do it. Still plenty of time.
How about Teron Owens? Where has he been in this game?
Not able to make outside shots. That's where he's been.
Glenn Concert, you used to be able to make a few outside shots.
Not many. Not many.
You were a point guard, though. Brian Collins got inside, got fouled. Canisius with terrific ball movement. And you were asking, when is Brian Ellaby going to pull his own?
Staying with it. He feels, obviously, that he has gone this far by playing this 3-2 zone. Good little dribble penetration, draws the back line away. Collins goes in and gets fouled. Collins doing a nice job for John Beeline off the bench.
Again, the bench has been a big factor, and that had been one of the areas of concern about Canisius. Did they have a bench, especially having to play 3 games in 3 days, and now with Barley definitely out, that even becomes even more of a factor.
Guys like Thompson and Worley, although he came in, didn't make too many shots, but Fred Dupree, Collins, Lampkin, 4 or 5 guys coming off the bench for Canisius, doing some damage.
Absolutely, and Collins rolls that one in. It's back to a 13-point lead. Still a lot of time left for Loyola, and they've got some guys who can light it up and score quickly, and their defense can force some turnovers, but Canisius playing a very solid game without Darryl Barley.
Now, Canisius has to make sure they don't go into lapses, which they have a tendency to do. Peaks and valleys, and to stay up on top of the mountain here.
Smith banking it in. It's been a very quiet game. Smith had only 4 in the first half.
Very nice.
Oh, they broke it beautifully. Dupree with the fake and drew the contact and the foul.
Nice execution going against the press like Swiss cheese, stepping into the gaps, Canisius. And Dupree does, actually Kevin Thompson does a nice job. But that play, Dupree was not in the open area quick enough. Pump fake gets the defense up. That's where he gets fouled. But he should have been right under the basket quicker.
So Freddie Dupree will shoot a couple of free throws out of Canarsie High School in Brooklyn. They produced some terrific players. Went on to play at St. Thomas More Prep. Very good prep school. He can really skies a tenacious rebound at Dupree.
Canarsie High School won the city championship when I was a senior at Bayside High School, Barry.
That was a long time ago.
A very long time ago. You were a mere pup then, Barry.
No, I could have been a much older brother. Clinton High School in the Bronx had some good teams when I went to Taft High School in the Bronx. Teron Owens. And that is a guy that has to get going. Teron Owens with just 5 points. And again, he has been a key factor down the stretch.
1-2-1-1 zone defense. Good job that time by Thompson. Didn't have anything. Pulled it back out. Run your offense. Settle down.
Got to be impressed by the poise that Canisius has shown in this game, Glenn.
Clock's an ally right now. They can take their time off that shot clock, get the shot they want.
Kevin Thompson spun out. Collins kept it alive. Look at Butler scrambling, and boy, Collins, a very emotional player. He's the biggest guy on the court there. Coming out with the basketball.
Now, Butler, as a freshman, has the tendency to pick up those technical fouls. An emotional player, showing some poise here, mixing it up. This is just a mix-up inside. Big guys get tangled up. Elbows start to be thrown. You see, all Butler's trying to do is get his arm out of Collins' chest.
And Butler ended up getting the foul called on him. It's his 3rd.
It's his arm.
And 5th on the team. He's going to get a chance to rest that arm right now on the bench. Get the trainer maybe to give him a massage.
That's right. And he yanked it out of its socket.
turn it over. 5-second violation, I guess. Oh, was it a 3-second in the lane? I'm not quite sure. Be that as, oh, it's going to be a foul on Collins away for the ball. I didn't see the foul. Michael Meeks back at only the 4th team foul. There's big number 55. Let's see if we can see it on the replay. And we'll have coming up in just a moment. Turnovers. Canisius with 12. Loyola with 10. Powell under some stifling defense. Powell had a pretty good first half, but Powell having trouble getting shots here in the second. Smith against that 2-3 zone. Powell into traffic, got himself in trouble and traveled.
Beeline continuing to change the defense. Goes back to the zone. Now watch the little head hunt. Little elbow thrown by Collins. That was the previous play. You can't set screens with your arms.
Dupree, they've got the advantage here, but he'll pull it out.
And had a wide open Meeks for the little alley-oop pass underneath. Give it to the big fella.
Loyola down 10. It's been all Canisius here, but still they're certainly within striking distance. Dupree against Tate, and we got a foul called underneath. Jim Hutter making the call. And the foul parade continues. Now, Glenn Concert, I don't think, we'll take another look here.
Well, what's happening, Barry, is that Canisius is getting the ball because they're all moving without the basketball, and that's the key in scoring areas where they can score the basketball, be it perimeter shots, good looks from the outside, in the paint, and that's been the difference.
Smith will bring it down. He's one of the keys to their offense. Can he get going here? Got fouled. And that's going to call it on the shot.
Now, Smith wants to make sure everybody in the building knows that he was attempting to shoot and got fouled in the act of shooting. He just dribbles into a crowd and gets hung up as he gets into the motion of his shot.
Wanted to make sure, indeed. And Anthony Smith will go to the free throw line. And you see the young man sitting down, Lampkin.
Yeah, Smith is on the foul line thinking he's shooting too, but it was a bump call first.
Yeah, I thought he might get a free throw out of it. Smith shooting 4 for 7 from the field, but Powell and Owens are really struggling. Another miss by Powell. He's now 3 for 11, Glenn.
Dupree was wide open.
So Canisius with a 10-point lead. Neither club has scored for a while here. 9:25 to go. The winner to advance and play Iona. They defeated Siena earlier today. Mickey Frazier with another 3. That's the 7th three-pointer for the Golden Griffins this afternoon.
Hey, we talked about in the last game, you live and die by the 3. Well, Canisius is resuscitated with that 3-point shot. It's keeping him alive.
Abraham got a good position that time on Meeks and just banked it in. Now a little trap in the backcourt here to try to force a turnover. They break it easily. Pulling up will be Kevin Thompson. He had Meeks underneath. Why didn't he go to him?
Not a bad shot. Maybe could have taken 1 or 2 more dribbles to improve the angle. It's wide open.
Again, they try to go inside to Abraham and another foul call, but officials really calling it very tight now, and the pace of the game really slowing down. Seems to be a whistle every time each team is down the court.
Well, they have been consistent this game. They've been calling it that way since the opening. But I think Loyola right now has to do some different looks on defense, try to get more opportunities with the basketball. They're not doing that right now. They're just kind of trading baskets, if anything.
And they're down, as you see the team fouls. Next foul on either club will put them in the bonus. Nice pass, Tate, off the feet from Milton Williams.
Very nice, stepping into the gap behind the zone.
You know, Glenn, this is still
plenty of time.
8.5 to go. You know, we've seen Loyola go on a surge before. They played some good basketball on the MAAC television network to beat Manhattan, beat Canisius. And you see Loyola with the points in the paint, staying in it again.
And that stat right there just goes to show you that they really have been missing outside shooting all game. No one really sticking it from the outside. They're really dominating in the way of points in the paint, but they're still down 10.
And to their credit, that's what you have to do. You have to find a way to win. And Anthony Smith's going for the rebound. We get a foul called by Leroy Hendricks. It'll be a 1-and-1, and this game could turn on free throw shooting with both teams going to be in the bonus very soon.
Well, John Beeline told me before the game that he has to make sure that if his team has a lead, not to fall into any lapses into any of the valleys in the way of peaks and valleys. You have to keep the intensity up because Loyola, they could strike and strike with tenacity.
Well, they've got great individual talents in Powell and Smith and Owens who can score very quickly. And the free throws, the difference in the game right now. Loyola has not gone to the line here in the second half at all. And they're here at the line now. Anthony Smith missing the front end of a 1-and-1. And skying to pull it down, Bam Moore. Canisius dropped their final 3 games of the regular season, 4 of their last 5. And it all started, Glenn, of course, when Barley got hurt. Even though they won that game down in Baltimore, they struggled ever since.
It's very difficult to lose a player of Barley's magnitude that has meant so much to this Canisius team, not only in the way of scoring, but also rebounding. He's great in transition. He's an excellent half-court player, can shoot the ball from the outside.
Moore with 5 points, but you'll look at his line and you'll say, hey, this guy's value is not in the points. We mentioned how poised he is, what a leader he is on the court. The assist-turnover ratio, his headiness, really the big factor.
And he's
here.
also great in transition. It's just another guy that can get up and down the floor.
Time out of the court. 7:52 to go. The Golden Griffins lead the Greyhounds by 11. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. Your end for the team there, Michelle. You take it, Glenn? Oh, I got it. Right now, let's take a look at New York Lottery's Hey You Never Know play of the game.
Little oop pass from Mike Powell inside as Smith goes right into the gap. Wham.
Boy, he can sky. Anthony Smith. And that is the New York Lottery's play of the game. Hey, you never know play of the game. New York Lottery, of course, will present a $1,000 scholarship to the senior men's or women's MAAC basketball player with the highest GPA for use in his or her graduate studies. New York Lottery supporting education since 1967. Well, if you're Brian Ellaby, you're down by 11. You got a lot of time left. What has to happen for you?
You got to try to create some opportunities with your defense, get the ball into Mike Powell's game. Right now, Mike Powell is playing, I think, without rhythm to his game, shooting only 3 for 11.
What about Teron Owens? 2 for 8. Those are the outside threats.
Teron Owens is a spot-up shooter. He has actually, when Powell creates, Owens is open.
And again, away from the ball, Glenn. The officials calling a lot of fouls.
And we're not seeing too much creativity from Powell either. He's not really getting into the lane. Brian Ellaby knows it. He's got his jacket off. He's got the suspender look. He's looking stylish.
Ryan Collins arguing with the official mildly. He had just picked up his 4th foul. He will get a seat on the bench. Did a nice job while he was in there. And Freddie Dupree back in. Give credit to the Canisius Golden Griffins minus Darryl Barley. And they knew by Wednesday that he had suffered a thumb injury on top of the knee injury that he was recuperating from. And Meeks, of course, with a knee injury as well.
Meeks not at 100%. We're seeing a Michael Meeks probably at about 80%. Not able to explode.
Every time he jumps, it comes down on that knee. It's very painful. And it doesn't practice very much, but he's a very gritty competitor. Tough pass to complete. But Mickey Frazier, who has been terrific, up with that pass. That's Frazier. Thompson. Good ball movement here. Spacing is good.
Very nice.
Bam Moore will almost finish. And Powell's got it for Loyola. Down by 11. Under 7 minutes to go. Now guarded by Moore.
Changing up the defense. They're in a straight man.
Owens guarded by Frazier. Tate against Dupree. Shot clock at 9. Owens fouled. Mickey Frazier with a hard foul. Have not seen that nice. He's in the game right now, but he's been very quiet here. They haven't gone inside to him.
Now Brian Ellaby wanted 3 shots on the jumper by Owens. Keep your eye on Owens' feet as he goes up. No, he's inside. He's inside. Good call by the official.
Key foul on Mickey Frazier, who has been a major factor with 15 points, hitting three-pointers. He will get a seat on the bench right now, and they'll go to the freshman Lampkin. So you replace a senior with the experience, who's done a terrific job defensively, and you go to Lampkin right here. We'll see if they still have that same poise without this guy in the game.
Well, it's not just the poise, it's also the outside shooting of Frazier.
Yep. Teron Owens with a rough game, 5 points for Owens, shooting just 2 for 8. Teron Owens had a big game earlier this year when these two clubs played. And hits the free throw. So it's a 9-point game again.
1-2-1-1. It's a diamond press.
Good job again that time by Bam Moore. Good recognition as he had Dupree down court.
Loyola did a nice job of getting back. Once the zone was broken, matched up nice.
Seems like Canisius is afraid to attack it to go all the way to the basket once they break the pressure. You know, they look to get it back outside. Dupree driving on Milt Williams. And Williams comes up with the basketball.
There's my man Milt with the D.
Milt Williams played a key role in their win in overtime, coming off the bench. This guy's Powell trying to get it going, can't. And a good rebound by Lampkin. Had position, and we have a foul called. They're way over the limit. And Powell questioning Murph Shapiro's call.
See, there's no rhythm in Powell's game. He's kind of forcing the issue. Not a good shot. Left his feet from the foul line, just kind of floated in. Then picks up the frustration foul. And
second foul, Glenn, on Powell. And they're way over the limit. Approaching the double bonus. Keith Lampkin at the free throw line. Kind of interesting. You look down the rosters, you see for Canisius a lot of players from the Baltimore, Maryland, D.C. area, and you see Loyola the opposite. They've got some players from up, in the New York area.
Recruiting.
That's what it is. Questioning the call right there, Teron Owens. Murph Shapiro, the official. Loyola cannot afford too many turnovers and not coming up with anything on a possession because the clock is not their ally. They're down by 9, 5:49 to go. We've got a timeout on the floor. Right now, the Golden Griffins lead by 9 on the MAAC television network. Owens had 14 off in that win in the overtime game. Smith at 19. Barry Landers and Glenn Concert and Mike Crispino all here at the Knickerbocker Arena. Game 3 of our 6 games of basketball coming your way. Men's quarterfinals, Glenn. Opening game this afternoon. Iona with a good win, paced by Greg Barr and the big guy Mikkel Larson coming alive. And they won by 12. And right now we've got a good one going, but Canisius in command at this point.
Well, John Beeline told me before the game that there are 2 keys that are so important. One is to contain Mike Powell. Right now he's 3 for 11 from the floor. And the second key is to shoot well from the 3-point line. And he's doing it. And you see rebounding also becoming a major factor in this game.
And Dupree with 7, Powell with 6.
Surprising. Dupree leading this team in rebounding. You think it'd be Meeks?
Now, Meeks has been surrounded. And again, he can't jump the way, we mentioned the problem with his knee. And he's been drawing so much traffic. A rare turnover here for the Golden Griffins. So a chance for Loyola with only a couple of seconds off the clock to come back and maybe score quickly.
Still plenty of time, Barry. They got to do it with execution now against the man. They're going with a man.
Powell had 34 points the first time these two clubs played. The second time, he was in foul trouble. Did not play much or play that well, but did hit 2 key free throws in overtime. And now, Teron Owens throws it away. Unforced error.
Interesting, Powell has seen a lot of different looks on defense zone. He had Bam Moore on him for a little while. Now he had Lampkin on him. Just trying to wear down Mike Powell.
Lampkin off to Bam Moore. It's Moore, Thompson in the backcourt right now. Dupree, Lampkin, and Meeks up front. Good ball movement for Lampkin. Oh! Another 3. And Canisius is killing Loyola from the outside.
They're killing them from the corners.
Toronto, it's off to Powell. A rough day. It's one of those days for Powell. Butler with a rebound. Abraham, and we're going to get a foul called on Dupree. He can't believe it.
Dupree in denial. There's a look inside as Dupree just kind of standing there, gets called for the foul, and he goes down trying to draw the charge.
He said that was an aircraft carrier from the Virgin Islands. Nicilo Abraham will go to the free throw line right now. Incredible performance by Canisius again, Glenn. When you look at the fact that Michael Meeks has 3 shots in this game, has only 2 field goals, and they are winning by 12 points now, 11.
It's a team game, Barry. 1 or 2 guys can't do it for you. Obviously, the loss of Barley. Meeks not at 100%. Bam Moore not really putting up a lot of points. So who is it then? It's really Mickey Frazier. It's Lampkin.
Well, obviously the strategy by Brian Ellaby was to shut down Michael Meeks, deny him the ball. They've done that, but they can't stop the perimeter shooting.
It's not the story. I think Canisius is doing a great job of getting into the gaps. And once the zone collapses, they're kicking it to the corners. And there's the story right there, 53%. So many of those attempts have been from 3.
Michael Meeks with a good pass, and Lampkin may have put the exclamation point here with a 12-point lead, 4:14 to go. It was about this time Loyola made their move the last time these two clubs played, and another foul called as Smith started to drive. Moore called for the foul. Looks like he got hurt a little bit.
Took an elbow to the mug.
So Moore will commit the foul, his second. In a sense, it's a break for Loyola because it stops the clock. They can get some easy points if they can hit these free throws.
Still time, Barry.
Absolutely.
Plenty of time. The way Loyola plays defense, picks up a couple of turnovers,
and the way these
capitalizes on them.
And the way these 3 guys, Powell, Smith, and Owens, can score in a hurry. They haven't done it today, obviously. Smith now at 9 points. He's averaging 14 a game.
So I think the whole key right now is that John Beeline's team has to attack the pressure. Don't just break it and then pull it back out. Use the clock if there's nothing there, but attack it. Make Loyola pay for the pressure.
Smith in double figures, and it's again a 10-point ball game. And Moore, who's played a superb floor game, gets fouled by Anthony Smith. Don't forget, we've got more basketball coming your way on the MAAC television network down in Baltimore on Home Team Sports, Madison Square Garden, the New York area, and our friends in Buffalo. Watching on Empire Sports. Nicilo Abraham will come back in. Julian Tate, who was in briefly, will come to the bench. And here's Bam Moore with 6 points. Look at that, 11 assists. I don't think he has more than 2 or 3 turnovers, Glenn.
So a great floor game, not really putting points on the board, but running the show for Canisius.
What that indicates is the good ball movement. They've had to pick up 11 assists. Smith missing.
Also means guys are making shots.
Absolutely, and they've done it all day. 2 turnovers for Bam Moore. Even you, Glenn, as a point guard, would have relished having that ratio.
I'll take that game anytime.
Barry Landers, Glenn Concert, Mike Crispino. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. 3.5 minutes to go, and Canisius with a 10-point lead will get a timeout called right here. 20-second timeout taken by the Golden Griffins. But how do you size up the night matchups coming up? We've got Fairfield at St. Peter's coming up, and of course Manhattan and Niagara.
2 great games, folks. For all you folks that are sitting there watching TV, I wouldn't leave because there's 2 great games. St. Peter's against Fairfield. A lot of people think that St. Peter's, even though they have struggled this year, can rally in this tournament and really sweep the tournament. Fairfield might be the team that's playing its best basketball, both Fairfield and Manhattan. Although Manhattan now, we've just learned, is going to play without Jason Hoover, who's one of the more dominating power forwards in this league. So it's going to be interesting. And also, we're going to get a chance to see Chris Watson from Niagara.
What a game he had the last time we had him on the MAAC television network. Over 40 points. What a win they pulled off. I mean, from behind. From the corner, Mickey Frazier, who's been a key in this game. And Michael Meeks going to be called for the foul, falling on top of Teron Owens. So Loyola will get the free throw opportunity. Still a game here with 3:16 to go.
You know, the other interesting thing about the games tonight, Barry, is that Fairfield swept St. Peter's and Manhattan swept Niagara. So you know what that means. You know something might happen. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row because you always have that little bit of a mental lapse, a little bit of a mental letdown.
Anthony Smith checking back into the ball game, and Lamar Butler sits down. I think Butler's going to be has a chance to be a dominant player in this league at the center position.
You know what the key is, though, Barry? He has to develop work ethic. He has to make sure he improves on his game. It's not going to come natural. There's no shortcuts.
Teron Owens with 8 points. And again, they're only down 9 with 3:16 to go. Brian Ellaby's club just hanging in here.
They chip away slowly.
This is very similar to the last game they played, when they rallied from a big deficit to send the game in overtime and win it in overtime. And how fitting should Mickey Frazier be a star in this game for what happened the last time these two clubs played, Glenn? We'll talk about that in a moment.
Good kid, just made a mental mistake. Cost his team the game, but he's back.
And indeed he is. Mickey Frazier with an excellent effort, the senior from Texas. That's Mickey. Dupree looking. Frazier. Dupree with the offensive rebound, and yes, count the basket. That could be the nail in the coffin.
Smith was able to establish, Dupree was able to establish inside position on Smith, and look what you get. You get the offensive rebound, and you get the basket. Now keep your eye on the weak side on Smith. Dupree comes into your screen off the missed shot. Watch Smith, he gets pushed out of the way. Just found himself too close to the basket. Dupree, right place, right time, right effort.
Loyola's inability to box out, they've been getting killed on the boards, has hurt them. And also on the other end, offensively, their inability to score from the outside. And they find themselves down 11 with under 3 minutes to go.
Now it's getting nip and tuck for Loyola, Barry.
They need points and need them quickly. And again, the defense of Canisius has been outstanding this afternoon.
One of Canisius' strength, Barry, is that they're a very good team in transition. They play very good man D. But I think Beeline's done a nice job of mixing up the defense, which has confused Loyola.
No question about it. Canisius came in average, giving up just about 63 points a game. And only scoring about 68, so they're not the explosive team that they were in the past. They missed Craig Wise's offense, who was a terrific player, and of course was MAAC Player of the Year last year. And now Powell will go to the free throw line. Now, Mickey Frazier has fouled out apparently, and Lampkin will come into the game, and he gets a hand from the Canisius players and a hug. That's nice. Dow Barley over there with the hug. Mickey Frazier fouling out with 15 points, 4 rebounds. And it was his three-point shooting early in the second half that really broke the game open.
Nice game by Frazier, and it's nice to see after what happened the last time.
Of course, what happened was that with the game tied, Canisius had the ball with 10 seconds left in overtime. And, of course, you know what happened at that point. He called a timeout. They had no timeouts left. And they ended up a technical foul called, and they lost the game on that. Butler intercepts, calls a timeout. Did he get out of bounds?
Smart play.
Nope, he called the timeout.
Smart play by the freshman. How about that? You don't see it that often from freshmen making a play like that. Lamar Butler.
Young man out of Medford, Massachusetts. And right now, let's take a look at our Pepsi player of the game. It is indeed Mickey Frazier.
And Frazier able to get in the gaps and exploit the lack of rotation on the zone.
Mickey Frazier with 15 points, and he's our Pepsi player of the game.
Had a nice game defensively as well.
I think I've been impressed by the perimeter defense they showed. Loyola missed a lot of shots, but they were right in the face of Powell, they're right in the face of Owens, and anytime they were looking for an outside shot.
And it was a team effort on the boards. Guys like Mickey Frazier, Bam Moore picking up those long rebounds. Those little things win basketball games for you.
Right now, Loyola with 2 timeouts left. Canisius with 2. Howe up to Owens. Tipped up and in by Anthony Smith. Smith with 12.
Smith with the rebuttal.
And Glenn, it's a 7-point ball game.
Not over.
We had put this in the refrigerator. Michael Meeks started to drive. Remember, we mentioned he had only 3 shots in this game. And we don't know how much he's hurting. You know, you look at that and say, Michael Meeks normally gets 15 shots a game at least.
You don't know how much he's hurting, but you can see that he has lost a step. Yep. He has lost some explosiveness inside, and he's a trooper. He's out there.
It's an excellent point because there were very few guys in the league that could explode from the foul line like he could when he was healthy. But that's a key free throw. He's been excellent at the foul line, Meeks.